looking like a bum, totally looking like a bum, but I did brush my teeth and I did put up on some lipstick. And I did that just for you guys. I sit with women as they're grieving. I sit with women as they're grieving and I teach you how to grieve. Number one, is I sit with you so you can feel supported, so you can feel heard, so you can feel understood, so you can feel like you're not so alone in this grief healing process. So you can feel like somebody sees me. They see me while I'm grieving. They understand while I'm grieving. And that is the major thing for me. And that's why I brought this all together and I call it the Grief School. And I'm so honored that you're here with me right now. I have this amazing lesson ready for you guys today. And it is the grief you didn't ask for. You didn't ask for this grief, but yet you're being forced to go through it. Nobody came along and said, "Hey, grandma, babe." Nobody came along and said, "Hey, you're going to be the griever now. You're going to be the griever, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to help you be the grief." I want to talk to you guys. This week, I was sitting with this most amazing woman who has just lost her husband. And one of the things she said to me, "Hey, Rosa, good morning." One of the things she said to me, she said, and I've been repeating this week because I thought it was so awesome. She said, "The air is getting thick to breathe. I feel like I can't breathe the air in. It is so thick." But while she was crying and sharing her story with me, she said this thing that I thought was so important. She said, "I didn't choose this. I didn't choose this." This, my friend, is the grief that you didn't ask for. You didn't ask to be the griever. You didn't ask for this part in your life. I didn't either. I was a real estate agent, having the best freaking year of my life as a real estate agent. I was sitting in a real estate open house, minding my own business, doing my own thing, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get punched right in the gut with grief. It was 2006. I was sitting in a real estate open house and I got a call from my daughter, Brittany, saying that "Mom, I lost Austin." She didn't say it like that. She was screaming at the top of her lungs. Grief often begins with powerlessness. The first thing is we feel powerless. We feel powerless towards this thing that is just rolling us over. You did not sign up for this. You feel powerless, but you did not sign up. You did not ask for this. You did not sign up for this. There was no class. I didn't pass around a roll sheet and say, "Hey, come on in, everybody. We're signing up for this." We didn't sign up for this. It actually happened to us. It's the worst thing possible, and it actually happened to us. You didn't get to vote on this loss. And you sure as heck don't get to vote on how you didn't get to vote on this loss. You didn't get to vote on how it happened. You sure as heck didn't get to vote on how it happened. But here's the thing I want you guys to understand. It's yours. It's yours to do with as you see fit. You didn't get to vote on the loss. It strips you of everything. Grief will strip you of everything. Everything will be gone. Everything will feel gone. It strips you of everything. It takes everything you have just to do this. This is the grief you didn't ask for. You absolutely feel powerless in the beginning. You didn't sign up for it. And everything will feel like it's gone. Everything changes. Seriously, this is exactly what happens. But when I turned to her and I said, "This loss was not your choice." It absolutely wasn't. We don't get to choose which one of us gets picked to get to go through a loss. And here's the other thing about loss. Here's the other thing about it taking us. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what social class you're in. It doesn't matter if you have all the money in the entire world. You're not going to be immune from this. We don't get to say who gets us, and we don't get to say who gets to pick us. Miss Rosa and Miss Debbie, can you guys do me a favor? Can you tap the screen and get the likes up for me, please? So they can send this out into the ethers. Thank you, loves. I love it. But what do we do now? What do we do now that we have been given this grief? What do we do with it now? Now that it's yours, what are you going to do with it? I want you to know something. You are not powerless. This is not you. You are not this thing. You are not powerless. We have to understand this. This is your pain. This pain is yours. But how are you going to navigate through it? What are you going to do with it? Thank you, ladies. You're beautiful. What are you going to do with this pain? You're not powerless. I read this the other night. It's out of the book, Grievers Have Choices. And I want to read it again. This is from the book, Grieve That Shit. Grievers have choices, even in the middle of the shitstorm. You have choices, my friends, and you get to choose. Not grieving is a choice. Not grieving is a choice that you, the griever, gets to make. Guess what? I can't come here and tell you guys how to do it. I can tell you how to do it. I can't come here to tell you if you should do it. That's completely up to you. Whether you should do this or not is completely up to you. How you should do it is where I guide you with it. But not grieving is a choice. Not grieving is a choice that you make. It's a choice that you, the griever, gets to make. Here's the other thing. No one else can make this but you. Not grieving is a choice. Staying in this pain is a choice. Staying in the pain. And as I write this in black and white, isn't that crazy that you would choose to stay in the pain? Staying in the pain is a choice. And it's yours. And I'm okay with it. Friends, I'm not going to drag you along screaming and kicking and force you to do your grief work. That's only something you can do. You have to make that choice. It has to be so uncomfortable for you in your heart and in your soul and in your spirit that you absolutely don't want it. Staying in the grief is a choice. Staying in this pain is a choice. I'm 100% right. You didn't choose this loss. You did not choose this loss. But you get to choose what you do with this grief. You get to choose what you do with this pain. Grief hurts. None of us are saying that that's not true. And it will wreck you. But here's the truth. You can choose to grieve or you can choose to stay like this. What does it mean if you choose to grieve? It means that you're going to look at it. You're not going to run from it. This is not going to be your choice. You're not going to run from it. You're going to go after it. You can choose that there is a way to do this. It's no perfect path, but it's your path. And you can choose to do it step by step. And just showing up here tells me a lot about you. Just the fact that you showed up here today tells me a lot about you. It tells me that you understand that your heart is in pain. It tells me that you understand that you feel broken. It tells me that you get where you are coming from with this pain. I meet grievers every single day that sit with me, talk with me. There was a lady in the live the other day. She's like, what if I choose to stay like this? Then don't do the work. I refuse to drag you and scream and have you kicking and screaming all the way. Here's my proof. Here's my proof. I am recovered from my pain. I am my proof. Erica lost Donovan and Austin. She also lost my dad. She also lost Sharon. We all had the same losses. My sister Erica is spending Easter in Louisiana right now. She just sent me a picture of her in her hat with a crawfish on the front and her crawfish shirt. And the tag underneath was, I hope crawfish love me as much as I love them. She's living her life she's worked on her pain. She takes those boys with her everywhere she goes. She is my proof that we don't have to stay like this. She made the choice to move on. I did drag her a little bit. Friends, I know you didn't sign up for this journey. You didn't sign up for this journey. The moment your person died, The road that you were walking together disappeared. You did not sign up for this. And now you're here, standing in this path that you do not want. You never wanted. You're facing a future that feels unrecognizable. I'm reading this out of the book. You're facing a future that feels unrecognizable. At first, you feel like this path leads to nowhere. But then, this is not in the book, but then you get all of these people that jump on the path with you that are giving you the advice that's just absolutely awful. At first, it feels like you're on a path to lead to nowhere. And then all of a sudden, you just have this pain, numbness, emptiness. But even in the darkness, there's a way forward. You can decide how you move through this. You get to choose. You get to choose. There are hidden choices that we didn't realize that we get to choose. There are hidden choices. In the grief, there are hidden choices. That you didn't know were there for you. Okay. There are hidden choices that we didn't know were there for us. I want to break them down for you. You get to decide whether you're going to talk about this. You get to choose to talk. What does that mean? Grievers need to talk. They need to talk about their grief. They need to talk about what happened to them. They need to talk about how they were on this path to grieving, and all of a sudden, everything changed. But hear me out. It is not just, I'm going to show you two forms of talking, okay? Yeah, my best friend Sharon died. Yeah, my heart is feeling really heavy. I'm going through some grief right now. Oh, thank you. You need to say that. That's what you say to the strangers out in the grocery store and at the bank. But when I tell you grievers need to talk, it's like this. My best friend Sharon died. I was sitting in the room and the nurse came in and she changed her oxygen meter and the oxygen dropped from 76 to 36. I kind of had my head laying back and then I just stood up and I looked at the nurse and I said, "Is that correct? Is that right? Is that her oxygen?" And then the nurse looked back at me and she said, "Yeah, I think so." The meter was on her ear. She goes, "I don't think this one is working." My heart started to beat so fast. I was so scared because I knew it was close. We were getting so close. That's the truth. That actually happened to me. That's a true story. Grievers need to talk about what they see, what they taste, what they're feeling. The nurse came in the room. My heart was beating fast. I sat up immediately. I knew instantly that we were getting close. I knew something was going on. I knew this was different. I knew I was going to be saying goodbye. We need to go down into that story and look at every aspect of it. What was she doing? What was I doing? Why was this happening? Why was this going? Grievers want to talk about that. Why? Why do they need to talk? Because their brain is not letting that information come into their heart. And every time they say something from their mouth, they start to feel it in their heart. And the reality of this choice that they did not make is starting to come out. So we need to choose to talk. We get to choose whether we're going to stay busy instead of feeling. We get to choose to feel. We get to choose whether we're going to feel these emotions or not. Grievers, you get to choose whether you're going to feel these emotions in your heart. This is what happens to us. Hear me out. You're all of a sudden walking down the street. You're on a walk. You're going to pick your grandson up from school. And all of a sudden, you remember that moment in the hospital with Sharon. You remember the nurse walking in. And all of a sudden, you start thinking and you have that memory. You have the memory. And the minute you have the memory, it sends an emotion to your heart. You start to feel sad. You feel broken. You actually feel a little loss. You start crying. Some tears start coming, but you're not letting that feeling of loss come in. Because guess what? You got to get to that school and pick that kid up. You don't want him to see you crying, but you had the choice to sit on the curb right there and then and feel that feeling. You get to choose to feel. There's another choice we get to make while on our grief healing journey. We're forging our own path. We get to choose certain things. We get to choose whether we're going to isolate. We get to choose whether we're going to isolate or whether we're going to come out. Isolating from our grief feels so good in the beginning. Why does it feel good? Why does it feel good to isolate? I'm going to tell you why. Because, of course, I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm making my own self laugh. Because in the beginning, this is what happens. You start to share your grief with people, and they say stupid shit. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Don't you think it's time for you to start dating? I mean, give me a break, friends. My person just died. My person just died. And you're telling me to start dating again? Or you're insinuating that I should start dating again? And here's what happens. As people start saying the stupid shit over and over again, you start retreating. You start isolating. Because what happened? You thought that they were going to know about the grief. You thought that they were going to be here on your grief journey. You thought that they were going to be able to help you. You thought that they were going to come in and really know the answers. Daisy said, oh my God, that's where I'm at. That's exactly where we're at. Okay, Daisy, a moment just happened to you. I want to point this out. She said, oh my God, that's where I'm at. It's other people in the room who can articulate the grief for you. When Austin died, Austin was 10 years old. He was my nephew. When Austin died, friends, Erica's a social worker. And I said to her, well, where do you guys send people to when they're grieving? I never even thought about grief. I never thought about grief. I never thought about me being a griever. Who does that? And she's like, we don't talk about it. We don't send people anywhere. I thought the people that I was going to meet, I thought the people at church, I thought my pastor was going to know what to do. I thought the doctor was going to know what to do. I thought my friends would have the answer. I thought family who had had people that died before Austin would come in and tell me, this is what I learned about grief. This is what I should do. This is what you should be doing. Guess what it was? It was none of that. There was nobody. I was out there navigating this on my own, and isolating was the perfect thing to do because the more I couldn't get the information, pulling back made more sense. But here's the other thing you get to choose. You get to choose healing. Friends, I honestly believe that we can heal from the pain of brokenness in our heart. After 18 years, I'm here and I'm sharing it from the mountaintop. Going after the brokenness in your heart is possible. It is possible to go after the brokenness. It is possible to go after the pain that's in your heart. You can complete that pain to the loneliness, to the isolation. You can learn how to feel. You can learn how to talk about this. These are all things that I teach at the grief school, and it is absolutely possible. But you, the griever, has to choose. You have to stop buying into what society is telling us. Society is telling us that you're going to be like this for the rest of your life. There's no loss like losing a child. The worst loss you can have is losing your partner. At least she's in a better place. She's no longer in pain. You're going to carry this grief for the rest of your life. You guys, I'm telling you, it is everywhere. It is everywhere. All of those things I just said, they're everywhere. And I have one more. I'm going to put it up here because you guys can't see down here. We get to choose whether we are going to suffer or not. We get to choose whether suffering is going to be for us or not. We get to choose suffering. Suffering is an option. You guys are like, Is she crazy? Ain't nobody choosing that. But raise your hand right now if you are not suffering in your grief. Raise your hand. Raise your hand right now if you're not suffering in your grief. It's painful. Grief is painful. I absolutely understand it. Avoiding your grief is a choice. Numbing out from your grief is a choice. Pretending not to have grief is a choice. It feels like you're going to go into survival mode. You have to go into survival mode just to make it through getting out of the bed in the morning. Just to get out of bed in the morning, you have to go into survival mode. And we're going to do whatever we can in survival mode. We are going to drink alcohol. We're going to stop eating food. We're going to overeat food. We're going to scroll on the internet. We're going to watch TV. We're going to wake up in the middle of the night and not sleep. Our sleep is going to suffer. We're going to take on all the extra projects at work that we can. Anything we can do to keep busy, we're going to do all of that just to survive. Because when we woke up from this nightmare and we turned to our family and friends, they were not there to help us. I want you guys to write down or think about, what is the one thing that you're avoiding in your grief right now? What are you avoiding? What are you avoiding? What is the one thing you're avoiding right now? What are you avoiding right now in your grief? You can type it into the live if you want. What is the one thing that you're avoiding in your grief? What is one thing that you could do instead? What is one thing that you could do? What's one thing that you can do right now? Okay, I'm going to break for a commercial. And it's not going to be the commercial you guys thought it was. Two things. The twins climbed out of the bed today for the first time. So Brittany called me and she's like, hey, we have 3-year-old twins. She's like, look at this. And they were in her room. She's FaceTiming me. She goes, why am I looking at this right now? And then she said, hey, you guys, how did you get out of bed? And then they said, we did it. Second thing is, I bought this off the TikTok shop. This is not a commercial because I'm not getting any money off of this. I took this energy and focus gum and I love it. So just so you guys know, it's giving me a ton of energy. So if you see me yelling and screaming and jumping up and down, that's why. Okay. I love the conversation of grief. I love the conversation of grief. I love sitting with grievers. I love talking about grief. I love being around others who are grieving. Why? Because nobody's out here doing it. I'm the person that I needed the day that explains it. The gum. It's the gum. It's like a magic gum. I'm the person that I needed the day that Austin died. I was searching for me. I was searching for somebody like me. 8 months later, I took my first educational program on grief. And honestly, I only took it because I thought they could help Erica. I didn't take it for me. I was so naive where grief is concerned. I thought there was a department in the world called grief. You guys, hear me out. I thought there was this department in the world. What? Think about it. Why would there not be a department in the world called grief? And we become grievers and we go to that department. Why? Why would there not be this department in the world called grief? And we go to that department and in there's doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, and our pastors. And they give us the information on grief. I was so naive. I just thought that somebody was going to have the answer, and there wasn't anyone, and no one had the answer. So the thing is this: you get to choose what your healing is going to look like. What is one thing that you can do right now? One of the things you can do right now is that you could start coming to Grief Study Hall. You could continue coming to the lives. You can join the Facebook group where I go in the Facebook live in the Facebook group Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm live. I'm live on YouTube. I'm teaching you guys. What am I teaching you right now? What I'm teaching you is the definition of grief. I'm not teaching you how to grieve. I don't have enough time here. But here I'm teaching you the definition, because when we understand what purpose grief serves, that's when we can move the grief. Sitting around in your bedroom, isolating and crying is a choice. Grievers have choices. I know you didn't sign up for this, but you have a choice. You get choices. Choice number one, you get to forge your own damn path. Some grievers carve out their own way. They go rogue. They figure out what helps and what doesn't, and they only do those things. This helps me, this doesn't. And in the end, they still come back and look for me. I have grievers that have come back after 10, 15 years that never got any of the grief out. They don't follow anyone's rules. They do it on their own. Do they finally get to recovery? I don't know. I see a lot of people that say, I've been trying to do this for years. Number two, you follow a path that's been walked before you. I'm on that path. I walked this path before you. Others lead into guidance. I'm here to guide you. You want someone to light the way? You want someone to take your hand? You want someone to tell you that you're going to be okay? You're going to be okay, friend. I know you're going to be okay because you're here. I know you're going to be okay because you're here right now. And if you can come, the first thing I'm asking you to do is come to study hall and let's talk about it. Let's talk about the grief. Let's talk about what's in your gut. Let's talk about that pain in your back. Let's talk about how much you miss him. Cry with me. I will hold your space. I promise you, I will hold your space. Okay. Here's one of the first real choices. The first real choice towards healing. The first choice towards healing isn't this big dramatic thing, right? It isn't that you have to move out of your house and you have to sell everything. The first thing is you have to acknowledge that you're grieving. That's the first thing. You have to acknowledge that this is grief and that you are absolutely grieving. And then the second thing is, I want you to say to yourself, I don't want to feel this anymore. I don't want to feel this way any longer. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to feel this pain. I don't want to feel like this forever. I can't, I'm not going to be able to do this. At one point, Erica said to me, 2 weeks in, she said, I'm going back to work. I said, you're going back to work? People say you are still grieving. Me? I'm not grieving. People say, oh, are they saying that to you? They're not saying that to me because I'm not grieving. Hey, Lupe, how are you? People say you are still grieving. Yes. Yes to you or yes to me, Grandma Babe? Oh, yes to you. Yes. And they're shocked, right? They say this. You are still grieving? Look at that. Look at those big old giant question marks. They're like shocked that you're still grieving. Well, where did they expect it to go? Did they expect it to just dissipate? Right? I don't want to feel like this anymore. Choosing to do the work is saying, I'm ready to look at the pain instead of running from it. 2 weeks after Austin died, Erica said to me, I'm going back to work. I remember thinking, what? What? How could you go back to work? It's only been 2 weeks. Your child died. How can you go back to work? And she looked at me and she said, what do you expect me to do, Sharon? Just sit here and be in this pain for the rest of my life? Here's the deal. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know where to go because we couldn't find the department that said all grievers enter here. There was no department. And so she went back to work. And you know what she did? She took her grief with her. She took her grief with her. Suzanne said, we've been taught that if we're not suffering, then we didn't love. So you die, I love you, and I should suffer for the rest of my life in this grief. to prove, Suzanne, we're going to prove to everybody else how much I really loved him by suffering. She said, Flaw Girl says, I know people that are shocked after 3 months of my suffering and that I'm still suffering. Blue Slope said, I'm glad I found you. You affirm that I'm doing it right while battling stage 4 appendix cancer. My heart to yours, my love, is hard. She says, my son died. What is your son's name? Share his name with us so we can give him some love. Guys, this is on the Facebook group. He died 1 year right before Mother's Day. That reminds me real quick. I'm sorry, you guys are going off topic. I'm going to stop reading the comments. I'll go back to that in a minute. On the 27th and the 4th, we are doing Sundays with Sharon. So I'm going to be here on Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be here on the 26th and the 27th. And on the 4th, I'm having a special guest. And that special guest is Erica. Erica's going to talk about being a mother that had to go through Mother's Day. Being a mother who was grieving. She had to talk about what it was like back then and what it is like now. Also, Erica just wrote a book, and it's a beautiful book, and she's going to be sharing that with you guys as well. Dr. Tom, a pharmaceutical professor at URI. Dr. Tom, my heart to yours. Everybody, can we tap the screen in TikTok and give Blue Slope and Dr. Tom some love? Your first choice is saying you don't want to feel like this anymore. Your first choice is saying, I don't want to hear people saying this to me. My first choice is to figure out if this thing that Sharon is saying is true. I honestly believe there is a way to stop the pain that's brokenness in your heart. I believe that we pull the knife of pain out of our heart. I believe the hole that the knife caused stays in there forever. I believe that hole is where you miss them, where you long for them. But it is not the pain of grief. It is not the pain of grief. All right. There's 4 things that I think, these are not grief stages. They can go in any direction that you want. I did not create my own grief stages, but this is how I see it, how grief should be approached. The very first thing that I think grievers need, and this is based on me being a griever, and Suzanne could tell you, and Suzanne, Debbie, anyone else that has been around me, anyone else that's here that's in Grief Study Hall, I think the number one thing that we need is to talk. I think grievers need to talk. I think they need to share their story, and that's where we do it in Grief Study Hall. I think they need to share their story, and that's why I put this together. It's every Tuesdays and Thursday. This is from 1 to 3, and this is from 10 to 12. Why? Because I want you to come in there and talk. I want you to talk about your grief. I want you to talk about this pain. I want you to talk about the dumb things that people said. I want you to talk about what people are saying to you. What are people saying to you? What is something weird that's happening to you in your grief? What is a weird memory you have? Suzanne said grief needs a witness. And where do you get the witness? You get the witness by talking. Okay, it's a certain witness, though. It's a certain witness. It's a witness that is a heart with ears. It's not just any witness. What's missing here, you guys? What's missing from the witness? She don't have a mouth. We need to talk to somebody who's willing to listen, who's willing to have their heart ready, open, and without coming back with, you're still feeling that? Well, there are plenty of fish in the sea. You should find someone else. Have you tried this? Or changing the subject. We start talking and then they change the subject. We're looking for the listener who has a heart with ears. And I'm offering you that in Grief Study Hall. That's number 1. Friends, you don't have to come to Grief Study Hall. If you have a friend that is this, be with your friend. Hang out with your friend. Sharon was this for me. Sharon was this. And then I lost Sharon. Sharon was that person. We need to talk. Second, eventually the talking is going to get where there's not that much to talk about. You need to lean in. And I get this from Sheryl Sandberg. Sheryl Sandberg was the COO or CEO or a big muckety muck at Facebook. She was on vacation in Mexico with her husband. I believe he was 43 or 45, and he was exercising on a treadmill and dropped dead suddenly of a heart attack. A few days after that, after he died, she was meeting with her rabbi, and he said to her, grief sucks. Lean into the suck. I'm going to say that again. He said, grief sucks. Lean into the suck. We talk first, and then number two, we learn and lean in. Some of us don't know this. So I teach this in processing the pain of grief. I teach processing the pain of grief. How do you process it? How does it feel? What do you do with this? I have a 4-week self-guided program called Processing the Pain of Grief. That's where we lean in. You got to lean into the grief. You showing up in study hall, you showing up in the TikTok lives, you showing up on the live today is leaning in. Listening to me, staying all the way through is leaning in. Leaning in is also when you feel that pain, and you just feel like you want to pull back, it's going a little bit forward. I promise you, friends, when I say lean in, I feel like it's truly leaning in. Sometimes I feel like, what is that? Like I don't know what it is, so I lean into it. Most of us are doing this. We're resisting it. Grief ain't going nowhere if you keep resisting it. It's not. It is leaning into it multiple times a day. It's leaning into the pain, leaning into the brokenness. Grief is a process that your body goes through. Grief is normal, and it is natural for us to grieve, but we have to lean in to the grief. We don't push back and resist it. Here's the deal. When you're talking in the study hall and when you're learning how to lean in, I'm simply going, you got this, girl. You got it. You got it. But Sharon, it felt like shit and snot was running down my nose and I felt like I couldn't breathe. You got it. That's grief. You got it. You need somebody telling you that it's going to be okay. That even after what has happened to you, the worst possible thing, it is still going to be okay. All right. Number 3 is then we need to learn. That's what we're doing here. I'm talking about this. We're learning. I come on the lives. We're learning. I'm teaching you. We're learning. I'm teaching you about grief. Friends, I didn't just fall off the turnip boat, or I didn't just fall off the grief boat. Austin died in 2006. You're looking at me. This is 18 years of being here, of sitting at the feet with grievers and listening to them cry, looking into the grief. I have a beautiful client. She's in here right now. And yesterday, we just walked over Thursday, we just walked over. This was helpful. This wasn't helpful. This made sense here. This didn't make sense. What did this feel like? I love talking to grievers. I love finding out from their perspective what worked and what didn't work. What did they feel they needed? And I'll tell you why. Why do I get in the brains of grievers? Because I'm going to say something, you guys, and I don't want you to be shocked or think I'm crazy, because it's hard for me to go back there and remember what that felt like. Because I've done my work, I don't have active grieving emotions and feelings because I've done my grief work. So I'm not actively there any longer. And so seeing it through your eyes, you're helping me remember. Suzanne said earlier, and this is so true, grief needs a witness, and I'm willing to be the witness. And the final thing that we need to do, we need to learn, and we need to complete. We need to complete. And you guys hear me say this all the time. And then you're like, what is she talking about, complete? Well, it looks like I drew it on this side. So I'm going to show you. We walk a journey with our person. We walk an entire journey with them. So my journey with Austin was 10 years. And it actually was 11 years because I distinctly remember the day Erica told me she was pregnant. I knew about Austin the day she told me she was pregnant. For you mamas out there, your relationship with your person starts when you start planning to have them. When you start planning on having those beautiful children. Why would you want to remember something so painful? Because memories don't go away, my friend. Terry said, why would you want to remember something so painful? Hold on real quick, Terry. It doesn't go away. It just goes dormant down in your heart. Your brain remembers. Your brain remembers. You're feeling. It's not that you're remembering. You're feeling the pain every time you think of the memory. Every time the memory comes, you feel the pain. Why would you want to stay in pain? You asked the wrong question. Why would a person want to stay in pain? This is the part we go after. That's the part you got to go after. Why would you want to stay in pain? I hope I'm answering that right. I mean, I understood the way you said that. Why would you want to stay in pain? Why would you want to be in pain for the rest of your life? Why would you want to be looking at the last day that you were with Sharon and crying every day? Why would you want to be 15 years from now and still crying over the brokenness of all the incompleteness? All of the things that you still needed to say that you never got a chance to say. All of the emotional pain that's still there. Why would you want that? I don't want it. Okay, Austin was born on March 2nd. And I was at the hospital about an hour after he was born. And I was helping Erica with the breastfeeding. And there were all of these things about my life with Austin that was just grand. And then I started babysitting him, and there was these things that were kind of crazy. We would fight and argue. But there was all of these things that made me smile. And I absolutely loved him. And he was just such a funny, quirky kid. And these were the experiences that I had with Austin. And on June 17th, 2006, Austin drowned at the lake. And he was taken from me. He was taken from me. He was taken from everyone, but I'm sharing my story. He was taken from me. And for the first time in my life, I had to confront grief as an adult with someone that I knew personally, that I loved, and that I care for. Now, if you're with me at all, you know that I do have a story about when I was 16 and I lost an aunt. But this is so my first time really going after the grief. When your person leaves you, when they are ripped from your heart, when they leave you, your brain starts to do a review of your relationship with them. And you have all of these memories. They're good memories, bad memories, sweet memories, and sour memories. They're all in there. Every single time you have a memory, it has pain in your heart. You have emotions. Every single time you have a memory, you have an emotion. And all the memories are all the experiences that you had. There was one time when Austin was 7 years old. He wanted to pee in the little boy's sink at the school. So he ran into the restroom at recess and he peed in the little boy's sink, but he couldn't reach said sink, so he peed all over the floor. And he actually thought it was funny. I never tell you that part. He actually thought it was funny. Yes, leave. And all the little kids came running into the bathroom and fell and said pee. The principal was livid. She was so mad. I hear a cat in need. No, it's children. It's twins. Are you talking about me? I have twins out there. They're 3 years old. They're Karis and Callaway. The principal was so livid, they called their mom and said, you got to come and get him. So I had to go to school and pick him up. He was 7 years old. she suspended him from school for 3 days. So I had him for 3 days because he got suspended from school for peeing in the read up. You missed it. Okay, hold on one second. I missed it. Okay, I'll have to get back to it later. So this is part of my memory with him. We hung out for 3 days and we had so much fun together. We had so much fun together, right? And so we hung out, and that's part of my memory with him. And there was this memory, and every time I would think about getting at the school to pick him up and the look on the principal's face, every time I would think about that, every time I would go to that memory, it would send pain to my heart. It would send emotions into my heart. I had things I needed to say to him. I had things about these emotions that I needed to go over. This, my friend, is what we look at in your relationship with your person. This is what we look at in our relationship to our person. And that is where we complete. And it is a specific set of rules, and it's done in a specific way, and we walk through it. So, in Grieve That Shit, I break it down. What does it mean to talk? What does it mean to learn how to lean into the pain? What does it mean to learn about grief and why it forever changes you? And what does it mean to complete the brokenness that's in your heart? And I have a question for you, friends. What would healing look like for you right now? What would it look like if you got a chance to heal? What would your heart look like? What would your life look like? I want to tell you what it looks like for me. What it looks like for me is that I can look at pictures. Healing looks like I can talk about Sharon. I can look at pictures of her and I together. This is my best friend. I can talk about her. I can think about her. I share stories about her. I can think, I need her every single day. I need Sharon. I need Sharon in my life. I need Sharon to be here. But I can talk about her. I can smile at pictures when I see pictures of her and I. I share stories about her with you guys, and it doesn't break me apart. I'm living my life. My husband has been teaching me how to shoot a gun. And last night we went to the range, and I actually made it into the bullseye quite a few times. I'm living my life. I'm enjoying my time. I enjoy those grandkids. They exhaust me, but I'm enjoying them. I'm not sitting in the darkness. This is what she said. It's like living in the darkness. I'm not just sitting in the darkness broken, Ralph. I miss her. I need her every day. And I will miss her for the rest of my life. So much so that I had it tattooed on me. I am forever changed after I lost Sharon. I am forever changed. I will never go back to being the person that I was. But I'm living my life, and I take her with me, and I get to share her with me. That's what it means for me when I ask you, what would it look like to heal? Okay. When grievers choose healing, I wanted this, I'm going to be quitting soon, but I just want you guys to see this. I like having the paperback, I think I like the paperback. Okay. When grievers choose healing, they stop avoiding. They stop over drinking. They stop waking up in the middle of the night. They go back to living. They stop avoiding the grief. They stop avoiding the grief. They understand that grief is a part of living. We all have a part of grief in our life for the rest of our lives. Here's the other thing. I want you guys to understand this. This is probably not your first loss, and it sure as hell won't be your last. It will not be your last. I lost Austin in 2006. We lost my dad in 2013. We lost Donovan in 2015, and I lost Sharon in 2017. It is not your first, probably, and it may be your first, but it will not be your last. That I can guarantee you. Okay. You can stop performing. You can stop performing for everyone in the room. You can stop pretending like everything is okay. You can stop pretending like everything is okay. You can stop. Oh, I'm fine. You can stop being the one at the wedding with 200 other people in the room, and you feel like the loneliest person in the world. And the thought that keeps going through your head is, do they know that I'm grieving? Do they know that this is awful? Do they know that this hurts? That's the thing that goes over and over again in our head. You can stop carrying the pain. You guys, my friends, I got to tell you this. How many times have you heard you're going to be like this for the rest of your life? You are going to be forever changed. You are going to be different. That is true. You are going to be different, but you do not have to carry the pain. You're going to carry the missing them. You're going to carry the longing them. And over time, the intensity of that will go down. You will never, ever, 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 ever forget them. You will never, ever, 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 ever forget those memories. They will be there forever. I can go through the memory of my last day at the hospital with Sharon. I can see it in my mind right now. I see me out in the hall, knowing that she was in the room. I see it. I know who was standing next to me. I see it. I know that. But it doesn't have an emotional tie to it. It's just simply a memory. When we choose grieving, we choose to live in the grief time, in real time. We choose to live in real time, not grief time. Real time. Real time is the time that everybody else is in. You and I right now, we're active grievers. We're living in grief time. When you choose to go after the brokenness in your heart, you're going to choose to go back into real time. Hear me out. Here's real time, and here's grief time. Everybody in the world is here. They are going to work. They're paying their bills. They are living their life. They're laughing. They're planning fun. They're going camping. They're doing all the things. Here's us in grief time. Ralph said, I'm sitting in the dark. I'm in pain. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to be around anybody. You're living in a different time zone. You're in an alternate universe. You are in the alternate universe. Ralph says our clocks go backwards. In grief time, Ralph, there are no clocks. There are no calendars. We can't keep track of time. Things just happen, and they just happen to you. I have beautiful clients that have chosen to do the work. And when I tell you they're doing the work, they bring the rawness. They bring their honesty. And it is in the rawness and in the honesty that these moments are where we absolutely get to talk about and where things shift for them. It shifts. If I can get you to the shift, to shift the grief just ever so gently, it will make a difference in your life. It will absolutely make a difference. Shifting the pain ever so gently. Okay, here's my final recap. You didn't choose this. And my heart to each and every one of you that's here and is grieving. I know that you didn't choose this. You didn't choose to be like this, and you didn't choose to be in this pain. I get that. I absolutely understand that. But the other thing is, you don't, did I just hold one, please, 1 second. I moved something, and I hope I didn't cut off the live. Did I? I may have. I want to check something. Okay, sorry. Friends, you didn't choose this. You didn't choose this life. You didn't choose this grief. You didn't choose this reality. It absolutely chose you, but it doesn't mean that it's over for you now. You can choose what you do with this grief. Here's the grief. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to carry it around like this and then just everywhere you go, just set it down gently? Or are you going to go after the grief? Healing from a broken heart is not a passive response. We are not just passive. We do not just go into this lightly. It is active. You go after it. You go and look at it. And every time you look at it, it's painful. I'm not going to lie. People are crying in here. They're breaking down. I had to look at my relationship with Sharon. I had to look at my relationship with my dad. 54 years of a relationship with my father. I had to go in and look at that. And let me tell you, not all of the memories were happy. They weren't joyous. They weren't this way. Healing is active. You actively go after the healing. You actively go after the pain. You actively learn how to grieve. Suzanne said it's painful work, but it is so worth it. And she is so right. What a beautiful soul. You go after it, it's active work, and it is possible. It is possible to heal the brokenness in your heart. And there's some high powered people out there that are talking about grief, and they are still slinging the same old shit that you're going to be like this for the rest of your life. And I'm here to tell you right now that I'm living proof that you're not. I want Sharon. I want Sharon in my life. I want her to be here. I want her to know. We used to talk about retiring together and getting a place where she would have a place and I would have a place and we'd be on the same property and we become old ladies together. I would have loved that. Sharon is gone and now I've moved to Texas and I'm here. I've gone over her life. I'm thinking about her every moment. I miss that. I miss the future that we were going to plan together. I miss the future that we were going to have together. I don't have that anymore. That was taken from me. That moment in time with her is now gone. Okay, did I go one? Did I? Okay, you get to forge the path for yourself. And here's where I want to leave you with. I want to tell you who I am. My name is Sharon Brubaker, and I'm a grief specialist. I'm the owner of the Grief School, the place where healing begins. The place where healing begins. Grief is not the end. You are forever changed, but this is not your end. So here's the deal. If you're in TikTok, you can go to the link in my bio, and there you can find out everything about me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Join the Facebook group, The Grief School, because I'm in there every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I go live. I'm giving you guys the definition of grief. Today's definition was choosing. Today's definition was choosing. You choosing. Friends, look. The second thing is talking. So I was like, people need to talk. And this is what would happen. And kid you not, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I set up a calendar where people could go into my calendar and they could make an appointment. In one 3-week appointment, I got a 3-week span. I got 45 people, women that set up appointments with me. 45 women. 3 showed up. I'm not going to sit here all day and wait for you guys. Remember I said I'm not dragging your ass in here? You got to come willingly, and you got to be ready, willing, and able to do the work. So I opened Grief Study Hall. You know what? I'm just going to open up open office hours, and whoever wants to talk to me can come in there. And I have beautiful women that come in there, and they come every Tuesday and every Thursday. Some stay for an hour, some stay for 2 hours, some turn their cameras on, some don't turn their cameras on, some talk, some never talk. They just listen. It's whatever you want. That group is for you. Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? And I have the book, Grieve That Shit, and it's going to be coming out at the end of the month. And if you click the link right here in my bio, you can get on the wait list for the Grieve That Shit book. And in June, we're going to be having our first, since COVID, Grief Intensive. It's a Grief Intensive weekend. It's going to be here in Dallas, Texas, and the details are to follow. You can also get on the wait list for that there. So I'm everywhere. You can find me. I'm here for you. I'm willing to listen. You can also set up a one-on-one appointment with me. Do a grief assessment and set a one-on-one appointment with me. I'm ready, willing, and able to hear what you have to say. I love you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to stay on TikTok for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to be off doing my day because we have to dye Easter eggs, and we're making pretzels, and we have Easter baskets to set up, so we have a lot of stuff to do. I'm coming back to TikTok. All right, my loves, thank you so much. I want to leave you with this. Know that I see you. Know that I am you. I am a griever. And know that I'm dressed like a bum today. Bye, friends. I'll see you later.